I think it's just going to be a follow the leader. You know, I think Sammy and Jeff Shepard put on a hell of a show there, but I don't know if you're going to see anything other than maybe two guys, you know, methodically racing each other to win the race. But
Yeah, sure.
it's not going to be racing Peevely for 55 at the Ironman. You know,
Yeah.
it's a totally different racetrack.
To me, the cars have improved so much, like in 20 years time. I mean, probably for the average fan, you'd go, a sprint car is a sprint car. What's the difference? But I mean, you look at races from the early 2000s, 20 years ago, and you see cars sideways, and that's an acceptable thing. And even the passing, like the slide jobs aren't as clean and that as they are now. Now, like we know the engines have gotten way better. The cars, like sprint cars, hardly even get sideways anymore. And if you are sideways, well, don't expect to be competitive. Like, do you think 20 years later that we're going to see like faster lap times, or do you think they might be a bit slower because now we have especially this year, it's gone up, the weight rule with the Outlaws? Like, what was the weight rule back in the early 2000s?
Well, I mean, I think I had one of the lightest cars. The weight rule didn't come into effect till 2003. So like when we were probably running there back in 2000, 2001, my cars were probably 300-400 pounds lighter than they are now, which is ridiculous. So, I think the weight rule is not good. I don't like it. But obviously I'm a 150-pound driver. You know, a 200-pound driver is obviously going to love the weight rule, but I think a lot of the time the weight rule makes the cars so much heavier in the fact that somebody has to feel the impact of a crash, and the heavier you make it, it's got to go to the driver. You know, it's going somewhere else. So, I mean, obviously, like with Dave Sharpley and his seats and the seats themselves and everything we're doing now is so much safer.
Yeah.
But you have to, because the cars are so much heavier. And when they do, you know, it's the same car. It's basically the same car as we had 20 years ago. I mean, so really the car itself isn't much different.
No.
But everything has had to be heavier. You know, the motors can be heavier, the wings are heavier, the car, you know, the wheels are heavier, the tires are, everything's heavier, but that doesn't necessarily make it safer.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I personally feel like, I think back in the early 2000s, the cars were way cooler, and there's track records I still have from back then that won't ever get beat. I know we got a track record. I shouldn't say won't ever, but you haven't seen them get close to it yet.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to go faster or not. I don't know what'll happen. I wouldn't think they would, because 400 pounds is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But the motors obviously are better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a good question. We will see. They could go faster just because of the motor packages and the fueling and things they do now, but I don't know if they will.
Who do you think will be competitive there? I imagine guys that have good engine programs. I know like Brad Sweet always qualifies really well, and there's a couple of other guys that seem to have a good motor program, looking at, you know, results from qualifying like Schuhart and that, and especially with the way the format works now with the Outlaws, you're starting up front as soon as you qualify well. So it's going to be majorly important. Who do you expect to do well?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can just, I mean, for me, if it was last year and David Gravel was still in the 41 car, I'd say Gravel would probably be the guy to beat, because his qualifying was phenomenal last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how Gravel's going to be in the 2-car motor wise. I mean, he'll be close, but I would say if Gravel was still in the 41 with his Kistler power and everything they do qualifying wise, I would say David Gravel would be the guy to beat. But right now, I really don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know who is going to be the fast guy, because down in Florida is a good testament to speed and motors, and we had a lot of different guys qualifying well. So I don't know. I mean, Schuhart races really well, but I don't know if the track is going to let you. I don't know. You know, it's kind of up in the air. We don't know how it's going to race, but I mean, Donnie Schatz seems to qualify really well now with his Ford. So, you know, it's going to be whoever's on the front row of their heat races. So we will. What's that?
On the bigger tracks, Donnie the Ford seems
to
work well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely he's in the hunt. I mean, obviously you can't bet against him, but and Brad. So
Yeah.
I just think whoever puts their car on the front row of their heat races, them are going to be the guys that you have to compete for the win.